Hi guys, so yes, I'm back. Just trying to get caught up to where I wanted to be for videos for the week. So I wanted to continue my Mother's Day haul. These were two of the books I got. Thought I got an Oracle deck, but they just sent me the book, which is fine. I'll get the deck later. That's a better book for me to use anyway. Is Messengers, but don't have the Oracle deck, but I'll figure that part out later. But I got that, and then I got myself two books. I got Connecticut Witchcraft, the first panic in the New World, which technically isn't true. The Virginia Witchcraft, or the Virginia Witch Trials, predated Connecticut, but and then I've been dying to get this book. Of course, I get my stuff used. So I got this book. So I got those for myself for Mother's Day. And the other thing that I received last night from for Mother's Day was bought for me was the Bradley Tarot. So I'm gonna do a walkthrough on that and do a little story time. It's kind of hard to open those boxes one-handed, but I guess this book came out in like August. This deck came out in like August or September. I need to go to the store and get some caffeine. But I guess that's when it came out, around that time. I think that's when. Anyway, so my kid is all about. Kids are all about going to supporting small local business. So they went to the local metaphysical shop and said it was packed. Just grabbed the deck. This one I'm definitely going to have to use with my glasses because it's black and white and it's detailed, which works for, I mean, I can make it work. There's the box. Now I did have conversations with a couple people that already have the deck. So I kind of have a better understanding. I have to go through the guidebook. I'm not one to do the deck study, but someone needed to read things to me because, you know, I was not, I keep leaving my glasses in the car and they leave. So don't get a chance to grab them. So someone was very kind and read me the things that I needed to read. But yes, I'm definitely going to have to utilize my glasses with this. So anyway, after the discussion that was had, this is like more Greco-Roman or a medieval depiction, to me, a medieval depiction of what in medieval times the drawings they would have done around the time of Greco-Roman. So that's how I see it. And of course, yeah, the guidebook is pretty thick, and there's the back. Was talking about how the system was different, but in some decks the Fool is a 0. It's not number 1, it's 0, so makes total sense to me because I do have other decks that do that. So we have the Juggler instead of the Magician. But anyway, since it's Mother's Day, and I'm going to do a reading for witches as soon as I get this taken care of. But my kids are going to kill me. Thought I'd tell a funny story about each of my kids. For entertainment purposes. So, my youngest. I'll start with my youngest. I had to take my kid to a church function. I kind of wanted to, my kid started wanting to go, and my kid needed to go and socialize, so I was like, okay. And so I thought I better, kind of be watching what's going on. So I went with my kid to church. And of course, they provided transportation because, And we were on the bus, and my youngest was acting up. Of course, it's a church thing, so I can't say the things that I would normally say to a child who's acting up. Grandpa used to say, if we were getting a spanking or going to get a spanking, our hides were going to be tanned. So, my response to my child that was not behaving was, I'm going to tan your hide if you don't sit down and be quiet. So, my children come from a very long line of smartasses, looked at me with all seriousness and said, but Mom, I'm already tan, because my child is half Hispanic. My youngest child is half Hispanic. So the bus driver is cracking up laughing, and the adult that's supposed to supervise almost coughs on his drink and chokes during this whole incident with my kid. And I'm embarrassed, but at the same time proud, because, yeah, that's my kid. So, because they get their sarcasm and smartassery from me, that is most definite. Couldn't punish, if they make me laugh, wouldn't punish them. That's kind of my rule, because that's, hypocritical. So, and this one's a little bit more on the adult side. My oldest has some disabilities, and when he doesn't slow down to read things, he doesn't get all of the letters. And I had bought ding-dongs for the kids for a snack. Well, because of my son's reading issues and not slowing down and taking the time to read, he just saw food. Comes outside as I'm sitting out there with the neighbors having, adult time. They had just gotten off the bus. My then 12-year-old comes out and says, Mom, can I have a dill? And then the female deer, you know what that is, because, you censorship on these platforms anymore. Dill, and then female deer. So I look at my son and I say, what? Can I have a dill? Female deer. And my neighbors are cracking up laughing. And I first I thought he was just being a little smart ass. And I look at him and I go, you want a what? Mom, I want a dill female deer. My neighbors are cracking up laughing. And I said, what? And he goes, Mom, the dill female deers that you have sitting on the counter. My neighbors lose it because, well, they think, oh, she just leaves adult toys sitting on her kitchen counter. No, not the case. And I said, again, what are you talking about? He goes, Mom, the box on the counter, the dill female deers. And then I was like, those are not. I said, those are ding-dongs. And I said, please go and have two this time, and let your sister have two. Because I was over it. I needed to collect myself. So, yes, now that I've thoroughly embarrassed my children, and had my father been alive at the time, he would have been sitting there laughing with a smile on his face, saying, yeah, payback's a bitch. But yeah, these do kind of inspire me with Hecate, because I am going to do a pairing. I do have the Apocalypsis Tarot, and this also the Yolanda Witch Tarot. And I can do this also with my Celtic Tarot that's in my room, or my Druidcraft. So these would be like more, I need to get some kind of oracle that's more like ancient pantheon type of thing. This is only like my second black and white deck, but yeah, this is really detailed, and so I'm going to have to get my glasses. So now that you've heard some of my more embarrassing moments, there are worse ones, but YouTube won't allow it. Because they both are just like me. Worse, actually. I love my children. And of course the astrological stuff in here. So, I love my children. But my response always was that my two would make Bebe's kids run and hide. You know, we're Bebe's kids. We don't die. We multiply. Thank God I don't have grandchildren. God. Especially now in the times and situations that we're living in. No, we don't need to be bringing any more kids into this mess. But, and government wants people having more kids, and I'm going to do the complete opposite of what I'm told to do. 53 years old. No one's going to tell me what to read, what to watch, what to listen to, what to feel, how to feel, what to say. I'm not doing that stuff. I'm too old for that shit. But they are just like me. So I shudder to think what grandchildren would be like. Anyway. The cardstock is really thick, and if you didn't see, there's the back. But I'm going to make this work, and I'm going to finish showing you these cards, and we're going to get out the Apocalypsis. I think I have that Musola, I think is how it's pronounced, and it does have some deity stuff in it. And I do have a goddess deck, because this just really gives me Hecate vibes. And I don't have my triple goddess deck anymore, and I really didn't have a deck that was specific to, I'll leave these out, to Hecate. So, and I just put my cards away. Because I just used my Apocalypsis. Ah, here it is. I'm not going to get my other decks out because I got to get them out of the big case, and I'm not going to do that. Just not. It's like, I've already done the, shuffled the other deck because I just used it. So it would be more like a contrast because you have the color and then the black and white. Even though the Apocalypsis does do other pantheons besides the Roman. I wish I had the big guidebook to this deck, but I don't. But that's okay, because I know how to make things work. I know how to, adapt, so, that's what you do, especially, when you've been a single mom with kids and, a sick dad. So, of course, you're being a Gen Xer, you learn all about practicality and how to make things work. Knowing how to sew and, how to do woodworking. Learned that at school too. I can upcycle a lot of stuff, and make things work, because when you don't got a lot of money, that's what you got to do, but you make it work. It's just how life is, and you got to do what you got to do. What I got to do is drop the cards. But yeah, the Yolanda Witch is kind of similar to this. I can also, but I wish I had the big book to that deck. I really do. But I only have Murder of Crows and, yeah, this is the only other black and white deck I have. I don't normally, because of my sight problems. But, I'll just have to get my magnifying glass or my glasses out and, know how to make it work. But I did need a Hecate deck. So, or a deck that, I could use specifically for Hecate. So that, that really works out. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed me making. My kids aren't going to be happy with me, but that's okay. But, well, at least one of them won't. But anyway, peace, love, and light, guys. And I will be back to, do a reading for Witches Mother's Day edition for you guys. So, I will be back in a bit. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you choose. Not obligated. But I will see you guys in a bit.